time to get ready to host the track and field panel. There's Sprints of Paris happening now.
Set, ready, go! More, set, ready, go! More, set, ready, go! More, set, ready, go! Been on these blocks before, man, it's all the same. Already been around, I'm in my own lane. These brothers gassed up like they're sipping propane. They think they rollin' now cause they rock a gold chain. Set, ready, go! To another side that you probably don't know. The other side of the tracks that is, where the dreams run faster than the life you live. Slow down. Set, ready, go! Slow down. Set, ready, go! Set, ready, go! Set, ready.
All right, everybody. Well, I am so delighted to be here. Welcome to the session that we're calling the Sprints to Paris. Because of all of you very fitting, I am Sanya Ross, four-time Olympic gold medalist, now retired, and excited to have opportunities like this to visit with the best athletes in the world right now. Track and field includes a variety of events, from sprints to hurdles to the jumps, and of course team events. Today we have an equally impressive group of Team USA athletes who are record holders, world champions, and favorites heading into Paris. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Give it up, guys. So I'm gonna go down and allow you guys all to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Davis-Woodhall, and I'm a long jumper for Team USA.
Woo-hoo.
Hi, I'm Fiona O'Keeffe, and I'll be running the marathon in Paris this summer.
Hi, my name is Keira D'Amato. I'm a runner for Nike, and I'm going for the 10,000 this summer in Paris.
My name is Jaydin Blackwell. I'm a sprinter for Team USA.
Hi, I'm Noelle Malkamaki. I'm on the para track and field team, and I'm a shot putter.
Hey, I'm Bednarek, and I'm a sprinter for Team USA.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you guys again for being here. Noelle and Jaydin, we're going to start with you two, our para-athletes. Noelle, let's start with you. What does it feel like to be recently named the world champion? How has that been for you?
It's been absolutely surreal. I got involved in para track and field a little bit later than I think a lot of my peers did. So this dream only became a dream for me in the last couple years.
Wow.
And I think that really adds a lot to the surreal feeling, is all of a sudden here's this opportunity for me to do this really cool thing, and I've only been conceptualizing it for a couple years. And the pieces seem to fall together so fast that when it happened in Paris, it took a really long time for it to set in.
Yeah.
So it was like, whoa, here's this new thing, and I just did it. It's so exciting. So I'm really excited to have the opportunity to go back and see what we can do again.
Hey, you're being a little bit modest. You did it in world record fashion. What was that like for you, breaking the world record as well, on top of all that? And I just love how you put into words what it's like to have that kind of whirlwind experience.
Yeah, it was amazing. I've been throwing shot put for so long that the actual being in the ring and throwing the shot put feels so normal, because I've done it so many times. So to do it in this one specific context and like all of a sudden that's a world record was super exciting, added to the surreal feeling where it's like this thing I do all the time, and this one was really special because I was able to do it in Paris at my first ever international competition, and it was amazing.
Congratulations, and we know even bigger things to come for you. But what's better than one world record holder? Two. Jaydin, what was it like when you broke your world record?
I was looking for that world record. I was going for that world record. I was trying my hardest just to get out, get into my groove, get out, win that race, cross that line as fast as I could. And as soon as I saw that time, I was like, yes, I did it. I was tired. I was on the ground. I was just throwing my hands up in the air like, I did it. I got that world record. Like, I was like thinking to myself, like, I gotta get it. I gotta go chase that, because you only get that a couple of times in your life. So I'm blessed that I can do that so many times.
Yeah, and Jaydin, for the people that don't know, can you talk about what event you compete in and just all that part as well?
I do the 100 and the 400 meters. It's a lot. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of everything that you have. You have to do it physically and mentally because you need both, and to progress in sprints or in any really distance shot, whatever, you really need that, because if you don't have A and B, like it's not gonna work out. You need both. You can't just have one. You need both. You need 50 and 50. You can't just have just 50 here and just have nothing over here. You need 50 and 50, 100%. I give 100% out.
I love that. And I also love the fact that, the world record was a goal for you, right? Noelle
Yes.
talks about how you went out there and you just kind of having fun and having this new experience that happened for you that way. But for you, Jaydin, it was really a goal of yours. And so you went out there with the intention to do that. How do you avoid comparing yourself to others, whether it's your competition or your teammates, and really just stay in your lane and give your best?
For me, I really want to think about that. I really just really think about myself and just tell myself each time that I'm out there, it's just me, myself, and not nobody else, because it's just me that I have to prove myself to myself and everyone that is either watching me or that believes in me that I can do this. Because I believe in myself 100% of the time, whether I'm practicing or I'm in a meeting. You gotta have that confidence in order to do great things. Because if you don't, you're not gonna do great.
You've also talked about competing not just with Paralympians, but also with Olympians. Why is that important to you to be able to do both?
Because I want to show that even though I have disabilities that limit me sometimes, it's not going to stop me from doing what I do or shadowing my limitations. Because having a mental focus and believing in yourself is important, because I believe that even though I have my CP, I'm not going to let it stop me from doing what I need to do on that track.
Fiona, what you did at the marathon trials were absolutely phenomenal. In Fiona's first marathon, you won, but you also broke the Olympic trials record. And you're the only person on the stage who can actually say you're going to the Olympics already, right? Everybody else still has to go through their trials. So you will be in Paris. Can you just talk to us a little bit about what your first trials experience was like? And did you think you were going to break the record? Were you feeling like you were on pace in practice? I'm so curious.
Yeah, I really just came in with the goal of making the team, and I'd gone
Really? But what would we do when we think we're going to win?
Well, I knew it would take a super strong performance to make the team, because it's such a deep field with Keira and other athletes like her in it. So I knew that it was going to take my best on the day to get to Paris, and I was really just focused on competing and getting everything out of myself out there, and then the result just came with it.
Awesome. What are you looking forward to most in Paris?
I'm really excited to just experience that new level of competition, and I'm really excited about the team that we're sending in the marathon, and I'm excited for us to take on that course too.
Awesome. Were you one of those athletes who always dreamt of making the Olympics? At what point in your life and in your career did you feel like becoming an Olympian was a real dream that you could realize?
I guess I felt like it was a dream for as long as I can remember, but I didn't feel like something that was more of a goal until probably a couple years ago.
Yeah. And so what will you do between now and Paris? Are there many competitions in between? Are you just going to be focusing on your training? What will that look like?
Yeah, I mean, definitely everything will be geared towards getting ready for the marathon, but I'll probably do a couple of shorter races along the way just to keep things fresh and have some fun racing.
Awesome. Well, you and Keira are both long distance runners. What goes through your minds? I want both of you to answer this, because I can't barely run for 5 minutes without being distracted and wondering, right, you're with me. So what are you thinking about? How are you able to stay focused and continue to run at that, really high level?
Yeah, I guess in a race, I'm usually trying to break it down in my mind into more manageable chunks, so I'm not thinking about the whole marathon all at once. So just focusing on getting to the next bottle station, how can I execute this part of the race? But I don't know, I don't get bored. Maybe my mind is overly active.
Oh, you don't get bored?
No.
Oh, that's very impressive. Teach us your ways. And Keira, same with you. Like, what are you thinking about when you're, on those longer runs, and how has your training and preparation been as well?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. I think like in a race at first, I try to stay like very open-minded and very open and kind of just take in and observe what's going on around me. And then somewhere around, 75% in or maybe a little bit more, you start getting super focused and you're thinking about every step and every pace and your competitors, and then you start honing in. But like on a regular run, I'm thinking about everything. I'm thinking about my grocery list, what my kids are doing, like what my husband did.
I'll run the marathon.
Yeah, planning out. I go through a lot of jokes in my head too. For whatever reason, jokes have permanently implanted themselves. So I'll be like thinking about jokes on a run or something. So it's a little bit of everything. You have a lot of time to think about a lot of different things.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So that gives us hope, Tara, that maybe we can get, we're still not yet. Keira, can you share a little bit too about your running journey? Because obviously you got into the marathon a little bit later. Can you just share a little bit about your journey to the marathon?
Yeah, absolutely. I ran in high school, college, and I tried to pursue it competitively for a couple years afterwards. I got injured, and my injury was not covered by insurance, and so I quit. I quit running. I walked away from the sport. I mourned all the goals, like becoming an Olympian or winning a national title or representing Team USA. And I moved on, and I set out on a journey to find out who else Keira was. And the beautiful thing about that is I was happy. And I found through that, I had like kind of the biggest failure of quitting, and it wasn't that bad. And I think now my round 2, coming back as a mother and with just a very full life, that fear of failure, I've already kind of experienced that. So I almost feel like a superhero in a way that I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
So I came back after having 2 kids, and my husband was deployed, and I needed to get out the door and do something for myself in a very chaotic, lonely time. So I put running in my life then, and initially it was running for fun and for community and for mental and physical health. And somehow or another, after all that fun, I ended up setting my best times ever, and then I decided to really intentionally go after all that unfinished business and see what I can do.
Such a great story, and you are a superhero because being a mom is harder than any track and field event. And so now I want to move on to you, Tara. So Tara is my Longhorn sister. I've never got to say in a public platform just how proud I am of all that you've accomplished and the woman that you've grown into. I mean, if you've never seen Tara compete, I feel like you're one of those athletes who understands that it's more than just a personal competition, that it's also performative, and there are people there who want to see you do well. And I feel like every time, whether you're winning or not, and most of the time she is, you put on a great show. And I'm just really proud of you. You're such a great representative of Team USA, and I'm just really rooting for you over in Paris. So you're like the vet on the stage. I mean, you're still super young, but you've already been to the Olympic Games before. Yes. So, what did you learn from that experience, and what do you want to take into this next one?
2021 Olympics, it was a different vibe. I mean, I was coming out of college. I was new to this professional world. I was new to the European athletes. I've only seen them on social media through YouTube, so it was a big shock for me. But I kind of went into the Olympics. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I told myself this is just another meet.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard. Like, you can get wrapped up into like, oh my gosh, it's the Olympics.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? I'm on the biggest stage of my entire career. What is this? What is that? And I allowed myself to just like embrace every moment and just another meet, go out there, do what you have to do. And luckily enough, I mean, kind of lucky, there's no fans in the stands, but like, I mean, it just like shaped the Olympics to be just another meet in general. And so now, I have now had the world stage. I've jumped in Budapest, I've jumped in Scotland, I have world titles. And so now I'm going with this meet as like, oh, this is the Olympics. Like, let's go, like we're here, you're here to shine, and when I get there, I'm just gonna have fun and just take it jump by jump.
I love that you said when I get there, even though we have not gone through the trial process yet. Yes, another really interesting part of your story, because if you follow Tara, you also know that she has a very fun YouTube page, and you share your whole life. But you're married to your best friend, but also your training partner, Hunter Davis, who's also a Paralympian. What is that like, training with him? Like, is it track and field all the time? How do you guys turn it off? Like, give us the tea.
Okay, so we train together, we eat, sleep, breathe together, we do everything. Like, we are attached at the hip. And honestly, I don't think I would want it any other way. When we do go to practice, if one of us isn't there, it's not the same. And I don't get that motivation that I get when he's there. And I think it's something special that a lot of people don't really get in a relationship, that connection. Is it talking track 24/7? No, we have such a special bond, and we have so many things in our lives that we were able to, get distracted by track. Once we leave the track, we leave the track. And I really enjoy that, and it's easy to, put us as athletes, but put us as people.
Yeah.
And in a marriage, and we deal with things like normal people do. We just also have this weird side job.
Just personally, when you met him, did you know he was the one?
Absolutely.
Me too.
Absolutely.
My husband was the Moderator. I was like, I'm marrying him.
Yep. I saw him across the field, and I was like, whoo. That's my man.
I love that. So we talked about all that. How do you stay mentally sharp, right? Because we all know that when you get to this level, everybody's talented, everybody's out here doing all the things. Like, what is your trick to staying mentally sharp and keeping it fun?
Honestly, taking it day by day and just being myself. I think that's what I lost before, is just being myself. And now that I'm able to be myself unapologetically, I think that's how my mental kind of stays sane. I mean, if I was sad or just like way too into it, I don't think I could be where I am right now.
Awesome. Thank you. So Kenny, let's first talk about this. For those of you that don't know, Kenny, you have a really cool nickname.
I came out pro in 2019, and then the whole COVID thing happened. So then, actually being able to go overseas and just compete on the regular. I wanted to stand out as an athlete because, you see every time you watch a race, you have Nike, Adidas, whoever, all of us look, the same with the same uniform. And I said for women, it's a little bit easier to differentiate them because, they can change the hair color, the nails, and all that stuff. I mean, guys can do it too, but, it's not the same. So I was like, okay, what can I do that would make me me? Like, I don't have to do anything that would make me go out of my comfort zone. So Kung Fu Kenny, I like Kendrick Lamar, so he says Kung Fu Kenny in some of his songs, and then I also like anime. So I chose Kung Fu Kenny because it has a set of values that pertain to me, which is humbleness, discipline, dedication, and respect. So I just wanted to live those on and off the track daily. And then also, we had the headband, so I did a little battle every single time before the race. So that's how Kung Fu Kenny became.
I thought it was so well thought out. I love that. Yeah, so now I can share that with people when I'm compensating. I love it. I hate to switch from that, but on a more serious note, you have been suffering with some injury as of late. Like, how are you doing, and how have you been able to come back from that mentally and physically? How's training going?
In 2022, I ended up dropping something on my foot, so I had a toe fracture. So I was out about 2 months, and I would say that year was more difficult just because I was out for 2 months, and then I just had to shove training in a short amount of period of time.
Yeah.
And, somehow I was still able to get another medal. And honestly, it was kind of funny to me because I was like, okay, I did all this, I put in all the hard work, and then I got the medal. I was like, dang, I can't believe y'all let this happen. I'm coming back from a broken toe, so, that was a pretty good moment for me. And then, the next year, everything was going well, and then I think it was just a little bit of overtraining, and my hamstring ended up pulling a couple months. No, I was saying a month or a month and a half before trials. So I had to cancel some of the meets I was supposed to go to. And honestly, when I ended up going to trials, I was that was the first time I was nervous because I was like, okay, I haven't ran in a month. I don't really know what I got. I'm kind of still favoring my hamstring, but as soon as the gun went off, my mind just went blank, and I just ran, and I got the job done. So, this year, training's been going well. This year's gonna be a dominant year for me. I'm finally healthy.
Awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say, if there's a medal on the line, you somehow find a way to always grab one. No matter what, whether you're injured, whether the season hasn't been going that great, it's like if there's a championship, we know that you're gonna show up. What do you attribute that to? Is it to your mental toughness? What do you feel like it's like the underdog like mentality? Like what is it that allows you to keep delivering on them?
It's a miracle in itself because I'm coming from Wisconsin. You know, not many sprinters are known for coming out, you know, from a cold weather place like that.
Yeah.
And then I ended up going to a JUCO, same situation. Not many people come out from JUCO, you know, popping off the times that I did. And I ended up doing that, and then I went pro. So it's like my whole trajectory of like where I started, how I got to be a pro is unconventional. And I mean, that just speaks for itself. Like I've always been in a situation, an underdog, and all I do is just work hard. And you know, I have dreams I want to accomplish, and I make sure to get that job done. But it also just goes down to with the team I have, coach, support system, my family, friends, my girlfriend. I mean, I wouldn't have done half the stuff I've done so far because without them, like, I wouldn't have made it that far.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you. At the Olympics this year, one of the top stories is that for the first time, there are an equal number of gold medals available for men and for women. How do you guys feel about this huge milestone in gender parity? And anybody can take it.
Hell yeah! Why is it taking so long? You know, I mean, I feel like men and women, we all equally put in the same work. I feel like we all do the same thing. We both get up every single morning, brush our teeth, wipe our butts. Like we all do the same thing. We're equal, and for that to actually happen, it's inspiring and it's huge for sport. It's huge for us, and it's huge for the future.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's such a great time because when you look at the health of women's sports right now, it couldn't be a better time for that to kind of continue on into and onto the world's biggest stage. So the final one, I'm really curious to hear your opinions on this, and I don't know how to say this word, repechage, whatever, so we're probably going to skip over it. But you know, in Paris, they're going to have a repechage round, which will be introduced for all individual track events from the 200 to the 1500, including the hurdles, which means that athletes who don't qualify by placing in round one heats will have a second chance to qualify for the semifinals in this new heat. How do y'all feel about that?
I feel good about that because like it gives you like a second chance or a second opportunity to actually like prove yourself and like prove your worth up there. Because like if you have like kind of like a little bad race in that first one, you can get redemption on your second one.
Okay. All right, I like that take. Anybody else with the take?
I mean, I'm kind of the same with him. Like, you get the opportunity to right your wrong.
Yeah.
But then I also think like you have another round to run, so you're kind of putting your body at risk.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of be a double-edged sword. So like, yeah, you got the opportunity, but also you got to be more careful. Your conditioning's got to be on point. But yeah, like I'm so about it.
I guess I'm old school with it.
Should've been the first time.
It's the Olympics, we get one shot. You know, I think it changes what we've all known, especially in track and field. Obviously, there's like the NBA and stuff where there's like 5 rounds. But it's like in track, it's like, you know, you get one chance. So I think it's cool. I mean, it does introduce something new, and I'm always here for innovation in the sport. But I kind of feel like that's what makes track and field special is that, you know, you get one chance, and if you don't get it right on that day,
Yeah.
you know, it just wasn't your day. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. A lot of people in here who, you know, would want to hear from you guys. So the floor is yours.
World Athletics is writing $50,000 checks for the winners in Paris. So, and this is not, the silver and bronze get nothing this time. And no other sport is doing this. So I'd be interested to hear what you think about the 50,000.
Cha-ching! It's more money in my bank account. That's good. I mean, it's evolving. We were talking about this earlier. It's World Athletics. That's not their area. So I mean, to give money up like that in an area that they aren't even sponsoring, and they're just giving money to their athletes, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice to see World Athletics lead the way on something that I think is long overdue. I do believe that Olympic athletes deserve to be paid, deserve to have prize monies. You know, most of the athletes that compete in the Olympics nowadays are not amateur. The majority of the athletes that you see compete are professional. And just like any other profession, they should be rewarded for their efforts. So I'm really, really, really proud that World Athletics is doing something this huge, and I hope that other sports will follow suit, including Paralympic organizations, because every one of these athletes are the absolute best, the most elite. It takes so much to get to this level, and it's almost impossible to think that athletes are doing this while having other jobs or having to do other things. So I'm really, really proud of World Athletics, and I hope that they will do more in the future, and I hope other organizations will do the same.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that. I think it's great that they're doing it across event groups too, because I'm lucky that there's like a little bit more opportunity in distance running. But for example, I have a friend who's a hammer thrower, and he's one of the best in the world in his event, and he has to work another job, and he shouldn't have to, because he's like every bit as elite as I am. So I think it's great that there's some effort to equalize things.
So yeah, I'm happy to see it. It's a step forward for the sport, and I mean, honestly, it's about time, just because you have athletes that work their butt off, blood, sweat, and tears every single day, every single year, and some compensation is needed for them. I mean, there's some cases where you might have somebody that's at that level, but they're not sponsored, so that would help them in the long run for the next couple of months or the next couple of years. So I'm just happy to see improvement on that point.
Yeah, and I think it ensures that the athletes that are at the top in the world have the funds to continue this and continue their passion and be able to compete at this level for a longer time. So I think it's awesome that they're doing it, and I hope they continue to move forward in that way.
Yeah, this sport is expensive. Like, there's a lot of money that you have to put out to be great, to compete. Like, why are we having to go all the way to Europe, spend all this money, go all the way to Europe, and barely get a dime when we come back to the States? You can lose money in track and field as soon as you step out the door. Like, I mean, hopefully it can change, but we're doing it now.
Hi. Question for Tara, Rich Sands with Track and Field News. You were already one of the top long jumpers, but since last summer you really have become one of the very top. And I'm just wondering if you could talk about what changed, what clicked, what was it that got you to now you're world champion?
I think what changed is having first place snatched away from me multiple times in a competition. I've realized that you can't play the safe game. You have to put something out there so far that no one can touch, or put something out there so fast that no one can touch. And I mean, it's whatever that entails. It's training harder, it's changing your diet, it's going to bed early by 30 minutes. It's everything. It's a whole lifestyle change that I've done, and I've honestly have just been able to just be myself, and that's what's changed a lot. I've had to hide behind a curtain a few times because my personality is too much, or I'm just a lot, but that's who I am, and whether you like it or not, I'm gonna still be myself, and sorry about it.
How are you able to focus, endure, and the tenacity to get the job done, even if you are exhausted or your legs are feeling rubbery? And that's to any of you.
I mean, I think that's like absolutely a skill that I work on as much as the training itself. Every time I have a hard workout, I'm thinking about the mental side of it too, and trying to use my mind as an asset to help me perform rather than something that works against me.
Yeah, I mean, if you see how I compete, I'm out there for 2 hours. So it's a long time to try to stay focused, but which is why you see me being myself and jumping around and being energetic. I'm trying to keep myself available and open and in the right mind. And if I start to drift off and become quiet, then I'm not focused anymore. And but once I step on that runway, it's a whole different person. And I don't realize that I turn into a different person until I watch my videos back. It's just, I know I've done everything I practice, so once I step on that runway, I know if I hit everything right, it'll be a good jump.
Luke Cavender with TeamUSA.com. Question for Jaydin and Noelle. You both made your World Championships debuts last year in Paris, and both won gold and broke world records on the way there. So I'm curious now, what kind of expectations you set both for yourselves going into your first Paralympics after having so much success already?
I set myself to a pretty high standard. I'm trying to just repeat what I did last year, but instead just get gold in the one, break the world record in the one, and do the exact same thing in the four. It takes a lot of preparation for that, and I'm just trying to get myself physically and mentally prepared for that, just so I can keep doing what I can do from years on years ahead of that.
What do you think about the discussion about removing the board?
Wow. Okay, I've had some time to think about it.
And?
I kind of like it because when I jumped my 718, which is 23.6, I had about 4 inches left on the board. So in comparison, that would have been 23.10, you know what I mean? So I see the benefits, but I also see the tradition of long jump. I've worked so hard to get my foot exactly on that board. Don't cross the line. I've literally just trained just for that. But now we're giving ourselves another chance to change the sport, break more world records, break barriers that we have never seen before. And I think if we do that, cool. If we don't, cool. We're all going to show up either way. I think it's kind of silly if someone's like, oh, I'm not going to jump anymore. Why? Why? It's still our sport. Learn to adapt, and we're going to grow.
A quick follow-up question to that. If they were to do something like that, would the entire space have that kind of board like spring, or would it now just be the track turf? Do you know what the thought process is?
That's a really good question. That's something I asked and I'm wondering about because our boards are kind of measured, and I don't know how long they are. They're probably like a foot. But if there's going to be a takeoff zone, does that increase the board size?
Yeah.
Does that change the board's wood?
I think you can take off wherever you want.
Yeah, the question I asked though is that the board does give some spring, so you would think in theory it would have to be a long, a takeoff area where the board would be long enough where wherever they take off, they still get that benefit. But that's in the weeds, right?
Yeah. And it's all, I'm like, will the board material change?
Right. That's what I was curious.
Because if you hit the board perfect, it's like boom, and like it is this crazy spring. But if you increase the board's like distance and length, will that give you more spring because your entire foot is on a wooden piece? So I don't know. This is what I think about. It's nerdy.
It's cool. Do we have any other questions from the audience? And you guys represent Team USA. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Should we do a quick photo? All right, so I'm here with Noelle Malkamaki. Did I get it right? Yes. World champion and world record holder in the shot put, training for the Paralympics. First of all, I want to ask, what was your first reaction to the pajamas?
Initial reaction, they're so soft and comfy, and I love the pockets. They're amazing.
Awesome, thank you so much. So I'm asking everybody that puts it on, what does it mean to you to live in the dream?
To live in the dream means to me keeping the promises I make to myself to chase the goal I have deep down.